welcome back to Pantheon Geeks and welcome back to Core Space. Today we're having a look at Dangerous Days, the supplementary book for Core Space. This is, the idea behind this is it's kind of like going to be an annual, I think they said. So this is going to be released every so often with like new game rules and updates, stuff like that.
Cool.
So we've got that. We also have a couple more things. We've got the Core Space Get to the Shuttle set, so we're going to have a look at that, build the shuttle. And we also have some Rogue Purge to have a look at.
Ooh, interesting.
So in that order really.
Yeah.
So I'll pass this over to Tony now. Let's have a quick look at what's in the Dangerous Days book. I'm not going to sort of stay too long on this, just to give you an idea of what's in it if you're wondering. This basically continues on from the campaign from the first book. So you can continue crews that you've had in the first campaign through into this. It doesn't suggest starting just with this, unless you at least run a few scavenge missions or something to get some gear for your crew and some levels for your crew. It does kick things up a bit because there's new campaign rules in here as well. So you can see there I've got all these other things, and it reduces down the resources that are available to you as well. And you do have to start paying for your crew to stay on board the ship.
Right, okay.
These are all really cool ideas actually. I kind of like adding all this in after you've got an established ship and stuff and crew. Also there's the rules for gangers, and actually going to areas that just have gangs and no purge. So you convert the gangers into this. Right, the gangers have these icons on which give you the rank, so you just switch the rank for each ganger.
Oh, cool.
Basically, so you can go up against different enemies really, go up against the gangs. We have the rules here for the scavengers, which were in the scavengers box set. The civilians and scavengers box set. So they go over them again. And we have the rules for the Rogue Purge, which will be in the Rogue Purge box set, which will open near the end of the video. So all that's in there as well. They're quite interesting because you can use them as enemies as well, or you can use them as a crew yourself.
Oh, okay.
But they can't ally with other crews, that's one of the things. And crews can't hire them. And if you do play it as a crew, you start off just with the live one.
Okay.
And then he has to literally build, in a literal sense, his crew.
Oh, bless.
So using a rogue and purge crew, all the details are here. And apparently there's a lot of stuff in that box. It does feel quite heavy, so we'll get to see that a bit more of that when we
looking forward to that.
When we open that up. There's also new common rules in here and stuff, and there's actually rules for like infestations. I think they come in one of the sets as well. I don't know which set it is, but we'll end up with all the sets eventually, so we'll come across them. But there's also rules for using some of the other terrain that's included in different sets, not specifically core space ones, like the engineering set there.
Oh, okay.
And what you can use the scenery for. It's all quite good actually. That'll be quite useful. And then the Dangerous Days campaign sort of starts here. And you go through the various campaign missions, like the first one. There's a lot more stuff in this though. You need a lot more of the add-on sets. For instance, this one, Mission 3, you do need the Galactic Corps and the Shift Change at Megacorp. It does say you need them. And then he's got recommended Rogue Purge as well. So the Rogue Purge set on top of that is recommended.
Okay.
Some of them are needed, some of them are suggested. So mostly it's going to be like the original sets that came out with it, like Shootout Zeds. They're going to be the needed ones. So we're quite a ways off starting this campaign anyway, so by the time we start hopefully we'll have all the stuff anyway. Because we've got quite a bit of it. We do need the Galactic Corps and extra Purge and stuff. Can't quite turn up page. And then we have the epilogue, much like the first one. Then there's a short painting guide. This has been good to have in the first book, to be fair.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird that they've put it in this one.
Yeah,
it's like a bit of an afterthought.
I suppose if you've not painted your stuff when you were thinking about painting it, then you've got something to have a starting sort of look at how people paint. And then you've got some other ideas here. And there's like the Grell skin there. That's a good one.
Oh, right.
And then there's like the metallic, non-metallic, metallic arm. That's quite a good little thing for doing non-metallics, to be fair. It's a nice little tutorial there. And there's various other ones. Various, just little bits and pieces. I suppose maybe they've had requests of something to put it in the box.
How do you paint them and stuff, yeah.
And then we have some of the missions. I think some of these were ones that were actually published on the website. They kind of collated them in here.
Oh, right.
It's like the annual kind of thing. So the Rescue on Daedalus, I'm pretty sure some of these I have had a look at on their website. And they're still there, so if you want some of the extra missions and you've not seen them, I'm sure Egg Hunt is actually. I've seen Egg Hunt before. And the Lost Action Hero. Power Outage. But again, a lot of these will need the extra sets. This one, for instance, needs an extra set of the Cyberpunk core set.
Right.
Yeah, lots of missions.
Yeah, these just missions.
Yeah.
Alright. Wow.
Sort of things you can use as one-off missions or side missions for your campaigns, basically. And then we have the role reversal, which is quite interesting as well. I don't want to spoil it too much, to be fair. Yeah, sorry. I did have a read through some of these. Big one. And then we've got the Titan Core, which is an exceptionally large mission.
Wow.
And you will need 2 boards for that one. And pretty much a lot of stuff. And then there's an FAQ as well. And some of the advanced rules. And the extra vocational skills that come with some of the later sets. Purge skills in there as well.
Information about nanos and stuff.
And some of the stuff that will, most of this stuff's included in the box sets when you buy it. But this is like a compendium of all the extra rules. A whole ton of extra missions, obviously, a little bit of a painting guide. And a continuation of the story campaign, actually continuation of the universe, because the whole idea is things have got more dangerous because the Purge have advanced into more and more space, making it more and more difficult for your traders to actually trade, really. Go on missions and find what they're looking for, and repair the ships and keep the crews together. It's all become a lot harder. But then it's risk versus reward, because the rewards get bigger.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So that is Dangerous Days, not Dangerous Dave.
As I thought he was saying when he said to me, oh, there's this other book called Dangerous Daves. And it was the way he said it, I thought he kept saying Dangerous Dave.
Yeah. So now at some point we will have an NPC character called Dangerous Dave, just for that reason.
Just for that reason, because of what I thought he was saying.
I also tempted to go on to Hero Forge and maybe even design an entire model based around Dangerous Dave. So he can appear in the
Yeah. Well, I've been ribbed about that ever since the book came, and I went, oh, it's Days! Dangerous Days, not Dave.
So, Rogue Purge or Shuttle? Shuttle?
Yeah.
So this is the Shuttle Expansion. So this one is just card. There is a mission in here as well. What it says, there is a shuttle with a removable roof and about...
I thought you said removable loo then.
Removable loo. You always need one of those. A boarding ramp, 1 shuttle token, 1 cargo crate, 8 damage counters, an expansion rulebook and mission briefings. So front piece we have what I assume is the expansion rulebook. We have the 2 boards to build the shuttle, which is a lot bigger than I was. Well, that must fold.
I would think so. Do you want to stop putting out?
So get to the shuttle. So we have a counter. We have some damage counters. There's a crate with it. And then we have the shuttle run mission. That's cool. Oh, cool. and get to the shuttle as well. I suppose you need multiple shuttles for that, wouldn't you? Cool. It's a nice little addition. I did mainly get it because the shuttle did look pretty cool. So once again, taking these parts off, I'll do it from the back, and all these sections off, and that's how quickly it punches out. So what we'll do is we'll punch all these out and then come back rather than you watch us do this. So yeah, so there is no instructions with this, but I think Claire's sourcing some right now. One of the things is these are windows. It doesn't show them on the picture actually, like there was no windows in it. These are actually windows, so you want to pop these out and then push them back in. That way you can always pop them out, I suppose, to get shot at, or you need to get inside. One of the things when you're bending these bits, you've got to sort of bend the whole part together. Do it slowly, take your time. It will crease that bit in the middle, but hopefully you won't see that when it's done. It'll leave you with a line down here as well when you're done. That I will probably paint over as I have with some of the other stuff. But you're looking to basically bend these around without tearing it too much, because this will be the interior of the ship. This is the exterior of the ship. And again, we have the same sort of bendy parts there. Your best bet is to try and make sure you've got strength at both sides for these. And the same again. See, that window should come out. So we will just pull that out for a second. As well. And they're out of the way. And we have a bit that bends here and a bit that bends down here. There's a lot of bendy parts. So some of this I will do off camera, because I want to get it as close as possible. I might even use a ruler to press up against it to hold it in place while I do it. So, have you found the instructions?
Yeah, it looks like it's a video.
Oh,
so
video.
You might want to watch the video.
It'd be like Inception if you put a video on our video. Videoception. Right, so what we'll do is I'm going to bend all these parts and I'll come back. Okay, so I've bent all these pieces into shape. The next thing we want to do is we're going to put the seat into the front, which goes here. And we have these parts here which make up the seat. So we have these three circular bits, which just have like another circle printed on them. Those are going to be glued together in a stack. This needs to go in here. This will be glued in to match the pattern underneath, like that. And we want to make sure we are matching that pattern. These bits will be glued onto there. And this bit will be glued on top of that. And then we'll be able to put the seat in and out of this point here. I'm not going to do this on camera because it's going to be fiddly, and I've got like seconds to put this glue in place before it starts tearing the cardboard. So that's the reason why I'm not going to do it on camera, but that's exactly what, when we come back, that will be glued exactly in place there. These will be glued together and the seat will be finished. We'll be back in a second. So we have our section glued in there. We have our seat glued together, and wheel sets in there, like so. Next we're going to start constructing this ship, which doesn't look very easy at all. So expect swearing maybe, and
yeah,
we shall see what happens. So we have the main structure here. We have this internal wall, which is the one with the small door. And it's also got these vents on the side as well. Those vents are facing this way. This door seems to angle in like this, so it's not going in straight. At the bottom we have these 6 little punch outs there. These are where the different internal structures will line up to. So that bottom part has to go in there, like so. Then you have various bits that are clipped onto this. The one we're interested in at the moment is this one here. This is going to clip into this end part. So this is going to go into there, which is going to go into there, which is going to go into there, which is going to go into there. But we don't want to push it in all the way yet because all these parts have to go in together. So before we secure everything, what we're going to do is we're going to put the sides on. Again, these have windows in which you can push in or out. These are in at the moment. They will probably fall out as I'm doing this. But never mind. This one, so it's the side part of the cockpit. This top part with a little blue part on will go into this bit here. Like so, and then the bottom part slides into this cutout section here, and there is a section for that. There, so we just push that in slowly. That should then line up to about there, and then obviously that's going to push back as well. I'm not going to push it all into place just yet. I want to line most of these up if I can get them in. This side as well, and push that in to here. Like so. Make sure we put this one in right, because that one went in really easy. But then we haven't pushed this side down completely. That's one of the reasons that's not gone in. This one here, this is the internal structure. This looks pretty much can go in either way around. This is going to go in the middle. So what we're actually going to do is we'll just pull it out a little bit. I'm going to attempt to put this bit in without screaming too much. Well, the camera may cut in a second. Just finishing it. Yeah, because it's bent it a little bit. Not a lot of strength in that little bit, I'm afraid. So that can just go on there. It's not really going to add much strength to it, unfortunately. It's more fancy. And then we have the rear door. Goes that way around, I would say. And this one fits into this back part here. Again, we have the same sort of issue of having to put all this together in one go. Just get our door up for a second. Ease that in bit by bit. I'll come back to the front, make sure this bit's pushed in. And this was the bit that was just not quite lined up. There's a lot more lined up now, I think. Oh man, fiddly. That's a fiddly one. There we go. And then this is just a case of pushing this in and making sure that that's as tight as I can get it, to be fair. There we go. Ooh, that did it. I must have done anything else. I seem to just lock in then all of a sudden. Which is a bit weird for card. You expect kind of like lock in from a plastic thing. Right. Okay. Right, so let me double check all of this, make sure I haven't cocked up, and then I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we have this computer console section, which I've literally just pulled that open there. This bit, you could glue this in. literally, I'm just going to slide this back in here, like so. And that sort of lines up this front section here, so that you can tuck that bit in. And then what I probably will do is glue this nose in place, so this front part's in place, leaving this part to be open or shut. Brilliant. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so we now have our glued down cockpit, apart from this little bit which does flap up. I'm not going to do that just yet because it's still gluing. I'm putting it in there, so like keeping the pressure on to hold it in place. Next up we want 2 of these. There's 2 Clawtech ones, one for either side, and there's 4 of these little things. And what we're going to do, we're going to bend it around like this, and then we're going to glue in the turbine sections like that. These have got lots of little bends. It reminds me of the little power grid that came with the core set. So you've got to bend this around. What I've been doing is actually just bending it around my finger, and I've overbent it so that there's less tension on it. So I've actually, it's a really slow process, but it's just a case of overbending it so that those bits come in like that, and then there's less tension on this circular bit when you glue it in. And I've glued those 2 bits in there. I think that's where they go, because you've basically got one turbine in there, and then you've got like a long vent at the back. So I'm going to put together the other one of those, and when it's done, it's going to go on the side of the ship. I'll have a picture and see exactly where, but I think it goes about there. It sort of makes sense as to where that is. Then it would go on there. Obviously it goes on with the Clawtech visible on the the other thing I put together was the crate, which is exactly the same as a core set small crate. So that bit's glued into the bottom. I actually used super glue this time, and that bit's glued onto the top. So it's exactly the same as the core set. There's nothing different about that as far as its construction. So I'll go ahead and I will make the other one of these. I shall glue them into place on the side, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. Okay, so we have put those side parts on. It's about as equal as I can get them. There we go. And next we're going to move on to this top part. So this is the roof section, and this is an additional part to the roof section. So we're going to put these on. And that does mean a little bit more bending. So I'm going to bend these parts into shape, and then I'll come back. Okay, so now we've bent those around, we also want these 2 parts here. And these are going to go, these are like the intake part, they're going to go in here. They will probably go in at a slight angle, because when you put them in straight they come out over the edge. But what you want that is to be flush. So there will be a slight angle. I'm going to put one against that line there, and I'm going to put the other one against that line there. And then, once they're flush, I'm going to glue this onto here. And I believe it goes that way. Which way does it go? Is it that way around? It goes over the top of that and onto there.
I think it's the other way.
Is it the other way?
I think.
I think. That might be right. I'll get a picture of it.
Yeah, that's right. That number goes to the back.
So it goes with the longer part to the front.
From, yeah.
And then that part to the back.
I think it's because of the lines. If you look at the lines, it looks like the lines are going that way. Because it's dirty around here, isn't it? So it looks like it's either scraped or...
It's like drag, probably off the atmosphere or whatever, and it enters the atmosphere. It's just odd because the white line on this is at the back, whereas the white line on the engine is at the front.
But that's the white line.
But yeah,
that
is the right way around. Okay, so let's glue that together, and then we'll come back. What I'll also do while I am doing this is with these two little consoles. They're not structural, but what they do is they fit into that little nook there. So I'm about halfway up. So I will attempt, without screaming too much, to get it about there where it's actually landed, but I can guarantee I will not be able to get that in the same position, as freaky as that. Plus it's not very straight. But I'll glue them in place before I come back. So we'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we've completed the roof section. Oh, it just comes off, there we go. After a few times that should be easier to go on and come off, I think. And we have those panels in there, if you can see that. They were a bit fiddly to put in, but I used the old tweezers. These windows might end up getting popped out permanently, but because they keep coming out as I'm putting it together. I should probably just took them all out, but I've left them in back doors falling off now. We shall see. They might end up just getting put in a wee baggie and left to one side. But now we're going to do the wings. So we have these big rings. We have these little sections, which there should be 4 of those. 2, 3, and 4. Actually, we're going to glue those bits onto there. So we have a ring section which glues on, a bit 3D, and one of those gets glued into there in the centre. And again, the next one will get glued underneath. There's no raised part underneath, just this bit. We do have these little flaps as well we can put down or up. And then we shall stick on the wings, which should go into these bits that are left there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because I need to make sure I line all these up, because you don't get any time at all with glue on cardboard. And you could do PVA, but you would have to a long wait between each section. But that will be safer. So if you're not bothered about time too much, I'd use PVA when you're gluing this, not glue, super glue. If you're in a hurry like me, super glue. So I'll be back in a minute and we should have a finished shuttle. So there we go, there is the shuttle. It's really nice actually for card. I will be going around and painting the edges. I've done that with the other cardstock scenery. It does improve it a lot. And it's already nice, don't get me wrong, but painting the edges, for some reason, it just looks a lot better, feels a lot more realistic. So I will go and paint the edges of this, obviously off camera. But there we go, that is the shuttle.
Cool.
I've put all the windows back in, the seat's actually back in as well. If you can see that in there. The seat is in there too. And that opens and shuts the pilot's section. The windows will keep falling out if you handle it too much and try and use it as like a fly it around. They will all fall out. I do like it though. Yes, there was a few little bits which didn't quite fit together perfectly, but it's a cardstock. I wasn't expecting to be plastic. In fact, there's a few plastic kits that don't fit together as well as this did. I've got to say that. And I've struggled with and sworn a lot more with. Yeah. The swearing was kept to a minimum. Most of it was
It was actually. It wasn't that bad as...
That's the little crate you get with it. So it's like, it's a different colour from the ones in the main set as well. So it's good. You need to keep that separate. And you get little damage tokens.
Yeah, you get those.
Which I took off. And a little shuttle icon token. Not sure what that's for. I mean, you can put it in your equipment thing in your ship. It's not like you can put it in your pack. Unless you had some like 3-dimensional, 4th-dimensional tesseract that you could like.
I suppose it's like the proof of purchase, isn't it?
Yeah,
really? It's like proof of ownership.
More like a way to keep track of cost. I don't know if you could put it in your little satch. Oh, I found a little shuttle in there, little crate. You'd have to use it as a purchase token, I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm sure it'll be in the rules. But yeah, 90 UA.
Yeah.
Starting out, that seems a lot.
It does actually, yeah.
So that is the shuttlecraft. I can recommend it. It is not the easiest thing to put together that I've put together from Battle Systems. Not done a lot of their stuff though. I think in the video online he does show you how to put together as well if you go to Battle Systems.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to do like an independent version to see if he was you know, he'd already like pre-done it and was like doing a Blue Peter of, oh, this is what I built earlier. But no, he went through it quite well. It was a good guide, and it's turned out pretty much exactly how it should. There's a few bits with the bending you've got to be careful of. Ultimately, because I'm going to paint the edges and stuff, anywhere where I've gone a bit wrong or a bit of glue on it. It's one of the problems with using super glue. If you accidentally touch it, you can pull the detail off. But I can easily just do that as battle damage. Yeah. So I'll just weather parts of it the way I've done that. I didn't do a lot of it, thankfully. But there we go. I quite like that. I'm going to play with that later.
Yes, I can see that being played with later on.
I'd like to see more things like that from Battle System. One thing I was going to say, what I would also like to see, the only criticism I have of the actual kit of the windows itself, I don't know if there's a way to actually put in clear windows. I think they'd be better and have them permanent. This one I like the fact you can take it out because you've got the pilot seat in there. I don't feel that the ones on the back, maybe just the cockpit ones, I don't feel like the ones on the back really add anything to the fact that you can take them in and out. They're just a nuisance. The ones in the cockpit I do like, but I do like to see them as clear. So maybe have those as like tinted windows. Yeah. And then have these as like some sort of, I don't know whether, because you're using glue, whether you could like sandwich it. So I'll have it in two, I don't know. I'm not expert on this. And then you can like the the acetate, the sort of an acetate plastic, that's what I'm thinking, in between or something like that. I don't know. But no, I'd like that. But I will be painting edges, as I said. Right, onto the Rogue Purge. Here they are.
Quite a weighty box.
It is, because it's not heavy, but it's heavier than all the other add-on boxes that we've done. Apart from Zed's maybe, but that's much bigger. Yeah. Again, no cellophane on this. I believe these will be resin models. So I'm crossing my fingers that they're okay with my love-hate relationship with resin. And then we have the little book. We have the models. We have the bases, which I won't be attaching them to. We have our event cards there, like so. And there we go. Is that everything?
That's everything, yeah.
There's no card stock. Oh. There we go. That's what this is where the weight's coming from, and I was like, I'm sure there's some cards. It's hidden. There's plenty of card stock in this because there's a lot of little things in it. We'll get to that at the end, I think. I really want to see how the models are like. A bit nervous. More nervous of these than I was about putting that card short together, to be honest. So let's see what we got. We got this guy. A little bit of flash on there, not no problem. Looks nice. Just that bit to cut off. It is in an awkward place. I don't like the fact that it's in that place, but I can file that down. That's not a massive issue. There's a little bit of line on there. Not a massive issue. Okay. The Devastator. Main body. A few bits cut off. Quite often, a lot of little bits I completely miss. And it's only after I've sprayed an undercoat and I can see like where there's bits I should have cut off or bits that I just go, oh man. Then obviously you've got to spray it again afterwards. But, there's no holes in that resin so far. The holes that are there are meant to be there because they're like damage to the cloak. So these okay. And we have this guy who's the other harvester. And again, big piece of sprue on his head. I hate that. I don't really know the process of making this kind of resin. Having done some 3D printing myself, I know there's no way you need a massive strut like that on a 3D printer. I don't know anything about this process, so I don't claim to be any kind of expert. But the other thing about struts on a 3D printer is you can put them in much better places than that, and I would think it's no different for this resin, but I wouldn't know. This is the body of the live. Okay, well, is it live one?
A live one, yeah.
It's only because I've come to Core Space at the same time they've launched the second Kickstarter, and they're called the first ones. I'm sure they are. Firstborn. See, I've mixed live one and firstborn together, and I cannot untangle that in my brain. My brain was no, tangled forever now. There's sort of a conglomeration in my head. Don't see any pitting. Don't see any bubbles. Don't see any mold line mismatches on that one. Just some bits to clean up. And then we have the assassin body, which is a weird bit there. I assume that's a piece of arm. Hope that's not broken. Oh no, it's not a piece of arm, that's a piece of sprue. It really does like a bit of arm though. We have the sprue here. So we've got a Devastator's fist, bits for the assassin, parts for, I think that's the live one, and that bit's the live one, which means the other bits must be the harvesters. Anyway, we'll get these off, we'll clean off all these little bits of crud, hopefully I'll hit most of the bits of sprue off. We'll give them a wash in soapy water, soapy warm water, to get any residue off that there may be. Having done the civilians ones, I didn't notice any, but we did wash them off as well, so there we go. So let's get these prepped and ready to stick together. Okay, so we have our models ready to put together. So we'll start with the Devastator, pretty straightforward. Simple one part job though. Although the glue does need to start coming out. I always have this problem with Super Glue. And models flying across the room. There we go. So what we want to do is make sure we line this up. And there's a little dot on there, which is just the end of that wire. That is key to this. Like that. This guy's the easiest to stick together because he doesn't have any other parts. He's done. I just have to clean him up. The assassin consists of two parts. One is this arm, which there is a tiny little pin on the end of the arm. If you've not cut it off, it will be on there. Yeah, don't worry too much as long as you line this thing up. Ah man, this is my hit and miss love of resin. So that will go on that. Yeah, put a little bit of glue on here for the head to go in. There's a lot of play as to how that could go in, but he is very specifically looking down the direction that he's pointing. So there we go. So that's approximately where it should all be when he's glued together. Next up we'll do this guy. He's just got a one part attachment, which is his arm. There was a tiny little pin in this one as well to line it up, which is just on there if you can see it. to that. And that one did decide to set a lot faster, for reasons known only to the gods of resin. And then we have the first one, who is the last one in this case. He's not a first one, he's a living one. I will keep doing that. Okay, so he is basically in this weird sort of angle where he's got this arm twisted around the back and this arm around the front. So we have a little peg on there. I'll do the front arm first. Not sure if any more of them are in resin or not. Because there's a few sets we haven't got yet. I don't think any of the crews are in resin. The Yamato and the Cygnus crew. I think they're just normal plastic. Same as the box set. We will know when we get them. We haven't got them yet. So this arm. One here. He's sort of got his arm back. There is a little hole in there, but there is no corresponding peg on this. It may have come off, it may have got cut off, it may have got filed off. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to put on. The thing we can always do is file both parts very quickly. The diamond file makes the edge, makes the sort of surface of the resin a little bit rough if you do that, and it generally allows it to connect a bit better. That is okay, actually the glue's set now. That is the live one. He's called Freeman. There we go. There's a couple of bits there that I missed completely, even when washing him. There we go. So that is the crew. So I really like the models, I really like the detail, I don't like resin. I'll say that in any video where I put resin together, I really don't trust it. These look really good examples of what you can do with resin. I have seen very bad examples of what happens with resin. These look really nice. There's a few issues. I know anyone who wants to play some more board games is going to be a bit annoyed at the fact of resin. I'm sort of in the middle. That's because I like miniatures games and I like board games. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't bother me as much they're not in plastic or you have to assemble them. It's the resin itself that bothers me. The fact that they can misaligned,
yeah,
and the fact that it can have holes in it, and the fact that it miscasts, and just there's a lot of things that can go wrong with resin. And then you just got to go through the faff of getting it replaced.
Yeah.
Which is not what you want when you're excited and you open a new box set. And
it's terrible casting.
Yeah, which has happened.
It has.
On camera. Not with the battle systems though. So far the two we've had are okay. I've seen reports that people have had ones that don't work and all they've done is contact battle systems and got replacements. So I've not had anyone say that they didn't get a replacement or they were refused a replacement. It might have happened but I haven't heard of it. But these are nice. I like them. As an example of ones that are painted, there is NAB 13 from the Civilians box set. Turned out quite well. And I'll show you Molly. Not on any bases yet. I have ordered some clear bases to put them all on, which these will be going on clear bases as well. And the plastic ones. The one thing I would like is the bases to be separate, no matter whether they do plastic or not.
So you've got a choice.
Yeah, you could have little plugs in the base, and then for anyone who's doesn't want to faff around with base and just wants the ones from the set, you could just a little plug thing, you put them in, and that'd be the extent of putting them together. But I'd like the option of changing the bases round. But there we go. So that's the models. What else is in here? Well, we've got a load of card stock. We've got a ship.
We've got a ship
with our home, which is a standard shipboard. Nothing too exciting about that, unless you like standard shipboards. Then we have the actual characters from this. We've got Freeman. Obviously, bang, straight on his head. He's alive. The glue works. That's the opposite side, where you can have him as a rogue. And obviously we've got some counters on there as well, because from reading Dangerous Dave, I'm
never going to be able to forget that.
They can actually build equipment, which is very specific to them. That's why all this equipment's in this funky blue turquoisey, which I really like actually, colour. So if they're building equipment, they can make all this cool MacGuffin basically. So there is the live one. I do believe other people can actually use it though, but I think it counts as unreliable. They've not been able to reload it during a game or something. Right. There are restrictions.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. This is Deadeye, the assassin, and there's his opposite side. So this side would be used when you're not fielding the crew as a crew, you're just using them as NPCs who've turned up in the middle of the game to cause more chaos. There is a new one. That's probably my favourite model, is a Devastator actually. I really like him, and I really like the red and white and black colour scheme. It might be my favourite models from the core set as well, to be fair. And then we have Harvey. And Harvey's other side. And we have HV2. And the other side. We also have a whole bunch of weapons with nano equipment as well. It's funky. And then we have some more weapons and poison counters. And then curiously, we have
these two here and these here. Now, what I found out on the site is that is a separate card base that you can get.
So you can buy that one separately?
You can buy that one separately. Right. I think it's about £3.50, something like that.
Right.
But it seems to be now included in the Rogue Purge box set.
Right, okay. Cool.
So I'm wondering if it was a separate and then they just thought, do you know what, for one card set, might as well just stick it in with the Purge. But these cards don't have models for...
There's no models for these cards. They are double-sided.
They are, yeah.
But on the other side you have... Is that a Rogue Devastator?
Yeah, so you've got...
I don't know whether the idea is they're going to release these models.
Possibly.
You could convert them.
Because third looks awesome. He looks like some sort of dude from the Wild West.
Kind of like the other Devastator as well. Well, that's probably what. So we'll look at third.
That's third.
It does actually.
Yeah. And then on the back of him you've got an assassin called Many.
Alright.
So you've got two extra harvesters.
Basically got another crew.
Yeah.
But over two boards.
So you've got two harvesters, another Devastator, and a assassin.
Right, I've not seen the models for those. If they are out there, I've not seen them.
I've just had a look. I can't see them anywhere, so I might be looking in the wrong place. But yeah,
I don't think they were Kickstarter specials because these were at the Kickstarter. This is why these were in resin and not in plastic. So you also get these as well, do you? These are door locks.
Oh.
Do you know that much? So you can lock the door after you. Oh, I've got poison and fire counters. Double-sided on that. And then we have these little things. These are drops. So when you kill Purge,
They drop some.
they drop these, and these guys can pick them up, I believe.
Makes sense if they're going to be using them to make their own.
I don't know if it's for parts. I think it's probably for parts. I need to read the rules fully. But there we go. And then we also have these cards as well. So Claire will open this pack for me because I'm failing to find a bit to the bottom. No wonder.
Yeah.
You've tricked me. I'll be at the top for some reason. So we have. Pause the camera, feel free. Pause the camera. Pause the video, feel free. Dodgy Disguise. Decay Protocol. The Wanderer. Hive Mind Override. And Fast Learners.
That's weird because those are exactly the same set.
Alright, so there's 2 of each card. Cool.
Is there meant to be that many cards in there?
So is it that 10?
5 event cards, it says.
Oh, they doubled up on the event cards.
They've given you 2. Yeah.
Oh well. Never complain about having too many. Got some spares.
Yeah.
Alright. That doesn't usually happen.
No.
But there we go. Cool.
Put a little mission booklet there.
And the mission booklet. Did we look at that on camera?
I don't know. You did not.
So in here we've got the rules for the Purge, which were in the Dangerous Days book. They can also add spiders into the crew as well.
Oh, great.
Then we have the missions here. We've got Do You Wish to Trade? We have We Come in Peace. Next one should be Shoot to Kill. Escape the GCC. At the end we have the Purge skills tables, which were in Dangerous Days. So again, if you don't have Dangerous Days, all the rules for using them as a crew are into the game are included with it, which is great. Dangerous Days is just basically a summary with extra stuff in. But there we go.
Cool. Very nice.
That's 3 new attachments we have. Yes, and we'll be getting the rest, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Next month. Probably a little bit of a gap before we get them. Might even be Christmas by then.
It might be.
Maybe we'll get them for Christmas. Who knows? We shall see. But stay tuned for more Core Space. Put in the comments anything you want to see us. If you want to see us play Core Space again, please put in the comments. Other than that, please like and subscribe. It helps out loads. And you guys, take care for now.
And we'll see you soon.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.